John Costa from Citizens Eye, and we're here in the What space. So here's the flipboard coming together now. We've got 101 articles on it. So we've had all of the teams now. So last one, there's Tina waving, getting it all updated. We're here at the What space. So I'm going to come in here. This is our final team. I'm going to grab a seat. We've got Kate, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Very good. We've got Janet.
Hi.
And Tim. Okay, come to you first, Janet, because you've joined us from London today, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
So
yes.
what do you do down in London?
I am head of shopping centre management for Hamilton.
Okay, so you've come up from the same as Darren's come up, isn't he?
Yes,
come up on the train today.
Grosvenor Street, which is where our head office is.
Okay, so
Yes.
what have you thought of what you've seen so far?
Fantastic. It's amazing to get out into centres, particularly today, where there's lots of activities going on throughout the UK for Hamilton volunteers. But to meet the team, but also to see how some of the work we do benefits the community.
And you brought the sunshine with you as well?
Yeah, I do that.
Okay. So, Kate, tell us, where did you actually go with your team today?
We went to Homestart Leicester, part of Homestart UK, just off New Walk, and met Elaine Murphy, I think.
Yep.
And just sat down, had a really good discussion about the charity, about what she wanted from us and stuff. So it was really good, really interesting. She's really passionate about what she does, very friendly as well. Told us about her background, where she's come from, why she's doing what she's doing. So it was really interesting to find that out about her really and the charity and the work that she does.
Okay. And Tim, you were actually in a very special meeting room, weren't you?
We were, yes.
Why was it special?
Well, two of our colleagues, obviously, Matt and, was it Phil?
Phil, yeah.
Yeah, they tidied it up, got rid of all the filing cabinets and files and whatever, and made it into a nice little meeting room.
So something nice and practical to help them.
Indeed, yeah, definitely.
So what did you think of the organisation?
I thought it was a fantastic organisation. I don't know anyone myself, obviously, who has trouble, but obviously there's loads out there that have trouble with looking after their own children, etc., because of mental health problems or finance or stuff like that. And obviously Homestart UK in general helps them, and it's a fantastic organisation altogether.
Yeah. And we were talking, Janet, earlier about the values of volunteers and things like that, and their thing is trying to attract more people, and they've been going for 40 years. What were some of the practical things that you were saying to them?
We were trying to see how they could broaden their penetration, I guess, is the best way to put it, into the community. A lot of what they focus on at the moment is linked with healthcare and healthcare organisations. We were trying to look at how they could broaden that into business and wider into the community, perhaps looking at how they could link with the High Cross team and link with some of the activities we already do with children and young families particularly, to see whether they could identify a different type of volunteer, not necessarily always historically healthcare professionals or historically retired people, but young people perhaps who have a different view.
Yeah. Now, Kate, you're our main link person with the High Cross here, aren't you? With Tina here at Whatbox and here in the What space. I mean, we've helped support you before with things like the child safe zone activities and things. I mean, do you think it's an opportunity to be able to build on some of those things as well going forward?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we were sitting around having a discussion, that was like one of the things that I immediately thought of, is that it'd just be so easy to slot into something that we already do here. The child safe activity, keeping children safe in shopping centres. It's such an obvious link to the Homestart UK charity, helping families and parents with young children. Just accessing that kind of network, that additional network, which is what they're seeking to do. And I think it just, you can't ever, from people standing on the street with clipboards of that charity, you can't ever have that discussion, and being able to go in and have that discussion with someone and feeling like you're being helpful is it's quite good, it's quite interesting, it's quite fun, and I'm smiling about it as well, because it was...
Well, it was one of the things that we were talking about earlier, wasn't it, Tim, that the opportunity to go and do something which a lot of people don't normally do, which is not just volunteer, but actually find out a little bit more about what a charity does and some of the real needs. I mean, the previous team I just spoke to have come back from Zinfia Trust, and everything I know about them and all the great things they do, I never knew. They don't have a boiler at the moment because it's broken. And so they've just been talking about how they can do a fundraiser or speak to some engineers they know about a boiler. Then Richard, who does health and safety here every day, turned around and said, well, I'll put some safety tape up there because someone's going to bang their head, and pointed out something about the insurance. And it's these practical things that we tend to not think about, that we do every day, that maybe out in the third sector they don't necessarily do.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it was a great opportunity to go there and see what kind of thing charities do, especially that charity, which is obviously good for the community, and to see like where they are and that kind of thing. And obviously, they just hire out a few units in the building. Obviously, work from there, and there's I think 5 of them that work for it, and for the Leicester one, and they do an absolutely great job. So good for them, really.
Now, Janet, you've come up obviously from Hammerson's and with the other shopping centres you've got in addition to High Cross, and you know, I'm getting to know more of these guys now, which has been great. I've had about 40 of them this week, and there's 130 of them roughly in total, and they're a great asset, aren't they? Because they'll all know people in their own personal lives, so they work for High Cross, but then they're also out there in the very communities that these charities are trying to access, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's very much something that we like to focus on in our centres across the UK. We've got teams, as I said, out doing all sorts of community activities, and because the people who work within the centres are local people, it actually really does make a difference. So we've got people clearing rivers today, we've got other activities that are, like you said, tidying up and litter picking. So yes, a real range of activity, but really community focused.
Okay, now Kate, you've come to you finally. You've coordinated this week. How many spreadsheets have you sent me of people's names? I can't do Tuesday, but I can do Thursday for 20 minutes. We've had a bit of a fun time, haven't we, over the last 2 or 3 weeks coordinating it. I mean, from your point of view, you've had a lot of feedback from people. You're doing all the feedback. Yeah, it's easy to ask you whether they've enjoyed it, but do you think they've kind of understood it as well? I think what the value of it is.
Yeah, I think it's been really nice, obviously working reception, having people walk past, coming back from their activities, they're smiling, they're buzzing, they're talking about it, they're discussing it, I think is the main thing. And I think going forward that's a positive thing as well. And the feedback that I've had personally, both through collecting it and just having conversations with people, was really positive. A lot of kind of like words like interesting, diverse, things like that have come up quite a lot. So it's really good having kind of orchestrated it and kind of made sure everybody's doing something that they're comfortable doing. They've kind of chosen to see a charity, and because they have an affinity for it, it's good to have coordinated that all and then to have such a positive result from it. So yeah, very happy.
Okay, one final thing from each of you. What you've enjoyed about today, or something you found out, or something you might tell someone when you go home?
Yeah, well, I've obviously thoroughly enjoyed seeing like what kind of thing charity does. And obviously, if I do ever come across any friends or in the future, I'll definitely recommend obviously Homestart to give them a hand, building confidence and stuff.
And what's that worth from a marketing point of view, that you're going to say something positive to them? You can have all these big marketing campaigns on the side of buses, but the fact that if you ever come across someone you'd actually say that to them, I think is almost like money in the bank, isn't it? Saving it up for the future. Yeah. So, Janet, what will you be taking back to London with you?
I think just having had the time out to see how the community works around the businesses within the community is fascinating, and you know, having seen the teams and how it's just got getting to know you two over the last few hours, it's fantastic. Really good time, well spent.
Okay, brilliant. Now, Kate, obviously all of the 6 organisations and charities that we've visited this week are all within, well, I think the furthest was a 10-minute walk, and all the rest are even closer, weren't they? I mean, they're right on the High Cross's doorstep, aren't they?
Yeah, I think ours is a little bit of a longer walk because we kind of backtrack a bit. But
where did you go?
No idea.
No,
ever so slightly further.
You haven't actually mentioned the name of the charity yet. You did go to the right one, didn't you?
Yeah, it is nice that it does feel like community. It is really close. It is things that, you know, are kind of on your doorstep. And today it's been nice to spend time with people like Janet, who barely kind of see, just getting to know like the wider team members, and also with the charity as well, finding out why Elaine, like the background she's come from, why she chose to move into what she's doing, the reason she sought that, and also like more in-depth detail about the charity, the diversity of it, the different kind of demographic that they reach out to and how they try and interlink that. It's been really kind of eye-opening and definitely interesting.
Well, I think it's been a great week, and I've had some good feedback as well, which is nice, but also from the charities as well that we've visited, the organisations. But two of your colleagues yesterday said that they meet each other most mornings at the huddle that you guys have in the shopping centre at 9 o'clock, say hello to each other and then never speak all day, and they both know a little bit more about each other and have something in common. So I think that's probably a good thing. There you go, internal CSR. Good grief.
Yeah.
Okay. Kate, Janet and Tim, thank you very much.
Thank you.